Hey, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone that you're in. I hope that you're ready for this morning. It's going to be awesome. I got my friend Thomas with me. We're going to go into worship. And I just have some exciting news that I want to share with everybody. But let's do this while you're jumping on, while you're getting there. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from, how you're doing, what is going on today for you. It's Monday. Anyways, let's not waste any more time. Let's go.
Whatever it is that God has put on your life, I'm telling you right now, by the Spirit of the Lord, that you are not done, that you have not been passed over, and that there is still purpose and there is still destiny in your bones. If dry bones can live and become an army, those who which have flesh can rise up in their calling and their anointing and take on a new mantle. Most people are too busy complaining about in the position of where they're at, but it's the pressure that makes the diamond. It's the friction and being uncomfortable and the constant irritation that creates the pearl. I'd hate to be a pearl inside of a clam. Like constantly just, I'm agitated all the time. Oh, wait, now I'm a pearl. Clam, oyster, whatever. I ain't SpongeBob. I don't know. But I do know that God wants to bring breakthrough in this hour. He wants to bring transformation in your life. You serve the God of breakthrough. That He has desired for you to be the head and not the tail. To be above and not beneath. That you should not want anything. Because He shall provide. Because He is your Father. And He says that His voice will go over.
Well, hey, I hope that you're doing well this morning. I am. I'm doing great. I really should have just called this thing Coffee with Wes. But anyhow, we're going to have a wonderful morning. We're going to go into the presence of God. We're going to worship with my friend Thomas. And just listen, today's going to be good. Today's going to be good. I'm just telling you right now, I always go back to like when I was a kid, and like one of my only Christian spiritual influences ever would just taught me, today is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and I will be glad in it. There's something about when you just say, soul, you will bless the Lord. You will bless the Lord. You will bless the Lord. So I want to bring in my friend Thomas. He's all the way down in Florida. And just, even before we started doing anything live together, we just like, this dude has become an awesome friend. And so I'm super thankful for him, super blessed to have him in my life as a friend. And honestly, if it wasn't for Facebook, I don't know if we would have met, because we haven't, but we've become really good friends. And, so anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Thomas and bring him in right now. I'm going to stop talking. I always say I'm going to stop talking, but then I keep going. But good morning, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to press in. I really feel like the Lord wants to do something very, very, very unique today. So I'm geared up for that. I don't know what it is. That's what's exciting about it. Like it's Him.
You and me both. You and me both. And and apparently I'm supposed to know, but I don't know. But
You didn't get the memo.
No, I didn't. I got the black shirt memo, and that's about all I got. But hey, friends, listen, if you have not yet, would you share the broadcast? Would you share the broadcast? It's going to be good. People are loving your background, man.
Oh, thanks.
So,
a lot of work in that. Wesley knows what kind of work goes into that.
Yeah. Just a little. Ready for a unique day. Unique in a good way.
Yeah.
Unique in a good way. Well, I'm going to pray, and then we're just going to go into it, and just wherever the Lord is leading, Thomas, let's just go.
Yeah, amen.
So, Father, I just thank you right now for your presence. I thank you for your goodness. I thank you that you tell us that wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, you are there in the midst. You're there in the midst. You're right there. You're right there in the midst. And so you're here with us. You literally called yourself Adonai Shema. The Lord is there. It was a promise you made to us, saying, unlike your fathers before you, you'll never have to ask if I am with you, because you will always be with us, and you are here with us right now. And then you came in the flesh to be with us, to show us a better way. And I can honestly say, Lord, without you, God, this walk, if it wasn't for your faithfulness, this walk would be impossible. But you've been so faithful. Even though we haven't, you have been so faithful. So let your cloud, will you just bless us with the presence of, with your presence, with the weightiness of your presence this morning. Let the cloud of your presence be with each person right now. Let the cloud of your presence be with each person right now. We worship you, God. We worship you, Lord. We worship you. Because you are the only one who's worthy. You're the only one. Thank you, Lord. Go for it, man.
You know, this really used to freak me out as a worship leader when I had no grid for anything. But now I know it's because he just wants to have his way. He wants to be 100% right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's what minister can out-minister the Son of the living God?
No one.
No one. So we just kind of like, we just accept it and get it out of the way. But I really feel like the Lord is saying, what I want to do, you can't earn. What I want to do, you can't manufacture. What I want to do, you can't control. What I want to do, you can't box in. But you can receive.
Yeah, come on.
And so there's an ease, there's a rest. This broadcast is about rest. There's a rest of the Lord. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost. There's an ease in Zion whenever you understand that it's all Him and all you can do is just open up and drink.
Mm-hmm.
You can't push in, you can't manufacture it. Now, when we draw close to Him, He draws close to us. But when He's already here, and I believe He is here, and He wants to release His fullness, it's better just to receive and not try to manipulate the Lord, not try to. So many times we treat Him like a slot machine, like, put in the money, dial in the right combination, get what we want. Let's just say, Lord, we surrender to what you want. And I just hear Him saying one word. I thought it was going to be rest, and I was like pressing in to see it a little bit, but it's not rest, although that's what this is about today, but it's the word receive. So just know that it's all Him, and open up your heart this morning. Open up your heart. It's time for a refreshing. We receive your rain.
Come on now.
Come on, just tell Him right now. We receive your rain. Like a flood, I receive your rain. You can't earn it, but you can receive it. Come on, just open up. I receive your rain. When you come like a flood, we receive your rain. When you come like a flood, like a flood, we receive your rain. When you come like a flood, yeah. Come on, just take a second. Just linger in His presence. Receive. Open up. Like a flood, we receive your rain. When you come like a flood, like a flood, we receive your rain. I receive your rain. Come on, make it personal. I receive your rain. I receive your rain. If you're dry and thirsty, if you're dry and thirsty, just say it out. I receive your rain. Come on, we just need to stay there until you open all the way. I receive your rain. Okay, that's odd. I hear people singing with me. There's nobody here, it's the angels. I receive your rain. Come on, there's heavenly hosts with us today. Come on, just lift your hands, lift your heart to heaven. I receive your rain. Yeah. He sent ministering angels right now. I receive your rain. Wash away all the pain. Wash away every stain. I receive your. Open up your heart, open up your heart. Oh, oh, I receive your rain. When you come like a flood, I receive your rain. As you come like a flood, like a flood, I receive your rain. When you come like a flood, like a flood, I receive your rain. Come on, it's coming. Oh, when you come like a flood, I receive your rain. We want went to Arizona recently. Never been out there before with my family. And they were explaining to me about something about a monsoon. And they said, you can't be caught out in a monsoon because it'll sweep you away. And they said it just comes suddenly and you have to watch out for it. You have to watch the sky. You have to watch the rain. You have to see where it's coming from. And I'm telling you, there's a cloud the size of a man's hand in the sky right now, and it's about to downpour a monsoon on you, and it's gonna wash you away. You're gonna get lost in his presence. But if you surrender, if you receive, if you open right now, if you let go of yesterday, you let go of tomorrow, you let go of even worrying about later today, and just receive his rain, be washed away. We receive monsoon is here. When you come like a flood, we receive your rain. When you come like a flood, oh, like a flood, we receive your rain. I receive your wash me away, wash me away. I receive your rain. Oh, I drink in deep, drink in deep, drink in deep. Won't you come like a flood? I receive your rain. When you come like a flood, like a flood, I receive your rain.
Just let it rain on you right now. Let the drops from heaven just fall upon you. That refreshing. You know, when it rains in the natural, it clears out the atmosphere. It's like a cleaning. It's a cleansing that's taking place. And what he's doing is he's cleansing the air, if you would. He's just cleansing it right now. So let him just rain on you. That's it. You know, just let it rain. Let it just rain on you. Just receive it. Let it just come a little bit more.
You know we gotta sing that now. Feel the rain of your love. I feel the wind of your spirit.
Come on.
Now the heartbeat of heaven, let us hear. Want to hear your heartbeat. I feel the rain of your love. I feel the wind of your spirit. Now the heartbeat of heaven, let us hear.
Come on now.
Let it rain. Let it rain. What would happen if we all got in unity right now with one cry? We know there's spiritual multiplication, Wesley, because if one puts 1,000 to flight, two puts 10,000. So that's in deliverance and war, spiritual warfare. But what about in a cry? Does it multiply the cry? I believe it does. I think it presses into heaven more. What would happen if we all right now got in unity and made that one cry? One heart, one love, supernatural unity. He can't resist those that are pursuing him. It's a law that he set up. If we seek him, he seeks us. So let's become the pursued together. As we press in more, he wants more of us.
You want the I guess it would
The
be
Wesley version's going to say, then we'll have this many people praying together.
No. The see, the rest side of that says this: if you just sit still long enough, he'll press into you. And his rain will come, and you'll be flooded.
Yeah.
And see, when we're in that type of unison, where we're just like, we want you, God. Like, clearly you could see in the book of Acts when they were in the upper room, and like even after the upper room, they clearly had different opinions on stuff.
Right.
But they all were there for that promise. And when we're just after the Lord, because we just want him, not for gain, not for benefit, not for anything other than just wanting him. He's so good. And he's so faithful.
Even beyond that, not even for his presence.
Even when we are humanizing it and messing it up.
Yeah.
It's still so.
I mean, we seek the experience of his presence, but it's like I thought of it like one day, like as the president, like it would be so cool to be right in the room with a president. I won't say but a president. It would be so cool. But there's a difference between being in the room with him and seeing the entourage and everything and knowing him. It's a totally different thing. Seeking his presence can sometimes get in the way of seeking his person. And it's like we become familiar with his presence because it's so good, it's so rich, it's full of mercy, and it's full of grace, and it's all these things, and it's liberty, and it's all these things. But at the core of that, there's a heart of our Lord, of our Father towards us. So we need to, it's like another place to go after the heart of God.
Yeah.
To go after the heart of God, not just his presence. I know that sounds I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. But the truth is sometimes we can fall in love with the presence and miss the person. There's more. In the presence, there's things that you can receive, but in the heart, there's things that he can receive when we love on him. And if you bless the heart of a king, you have everything. And so we need to stay after his heart. It's a deeper thing. Feel the rain of your love. We feel the wind of your spirit. We love that. But here it is. Now the heartbeat of heaven. Let us hear what's in your heart, God. We love the rain of your love and the wind of your spirit. But now the heartbeat of heaven. Let us hear. Let it rain.
Come on, man. Just go for it, man.
Let it rain. Open the floodgates of heaven. Let it rain. let it rain. Open the floodgates of heaven, 'cause we want to know you more. We want to know your heart. Reveal your heart, reveal your heart.
There's so many of you right now that are like, he's speaking to. Like, there's clarity coming into your spirit, into your soul right now. You're reaching that place of clarity. You're reaching that place where striving ends and he begins. And it's like I see him. It's going to rub some people the wrong way. I see him taking the cross off of your back, saying, no, I carried this. I carried it so you didn't have. So, like, I was crucified so you could have life. Now, also understand that we go through a time or constant crucifying,
Sure.
Picking up our cross, denying ourselves daily. But when we're in that place, his burden, his yoke is light. It's easy. But we're so often, we're walking in condemnation so much that we're thinking that that we think it's freedom. We're walking in condemnation. We're carrying something that's so heavy and burdensome that we think it's freedom. But it's not. Because his burden is light. His yoke is easy. But it becomes easy, it becomes light because we embrace him. That's what makes it easy and light. That's what makes it easy and light, is our focus, our focal point is him. Not all the other stuff. See, you can't bring all the other stuff through the narrow gate. There's only room for you and him. And it's you following him. There's no room for all the other junk that we pile onto it when we're following the Lord. There's no room for the burdens of Christianity when you're following the Lord. Now let me elaborate on that a little bit. And then we'll go back into worship instead of me yapping, because I feel like I'm just digging myself a hole. But what I mean by this is we've made Christianity about all these other things. But it's really about following Jesus. It's about having our life with Jesus. But we've made it all these different extenuating requirements and situations and all this other stuff, when it's about Jesus. And so there is no room in that narrow pathway. See, even when the rich young ruler, many people go, oh, you got to give up everything. You got to, there's a level of that. But when the rich young ruler came to the Lord, he was saying that I've done all these requirements. What must I do to have real relationship with you? And what Jesus was telling him was saying, because Jesus was like, well, fulfill all the law, fulfill the commandments. And he goes, well, I have, and I am doing that, but I still just want you. He goes, well, the only way you're really going to have me isn't going to be by following a formula, but is by giving up everything and following me. But we think that we have to have these books or these CDs or this or that or like I need to become whole. You become whole in the process. Mm-hmm. You become whole in the relationship. You become whole while your focus is on him. You know, when you realize that, you know, he is what's beautiful. He is what it all looks like. That's why Colossians 3:2, that's like been my obsession for the last few weeks. It's just been keep your eyes focused on the things above and not on the things of earth. Just keep your eyes focused on those things that are pure, that are lovely, that are deserving of praise. Keep your eyes focused on those things. And when we do, that burden is easy. That yoke is light. And we can go down that narrow path that leads to life. But typically when we're doing that, we're piling on these other things, all this other stuff. And we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to. Listen, like, you could live your whole life thinking that something was completely wrong, and then Jesus in one moment could go, I don't have a problem with that.
Who told you that? Yeah.
You know, if it's just like how they brought the gospel to the Gentiles. Like, who says you can't? And then all of a sudden, so let him minister to you right now. Let him shatter your grid. Let him break your pre-made up ideas of who he is. You know, one of the greatest days of my life was when I realized he wasn't anything like I thought he was. I was completely wrong. And I'll share this, and then Thomas will make this better than me yapping. There was a day I was invited to be a part of this harp and bowl scenario type thing, which is like normally not like what I get invited to be a part of, but it was at my home church, but it was a different group of people leading it. And so as I was sitting there, because I said yes, because, you know, I was the associate pastor, blah blah blah. And so as I was sitting there, out of the corner of my eye, I watched someone walk in, and I realized it's the Lord. And I was like, hey, I'm glad you're here. I barely wanted to be here. But the thing is he was wearing like blue jeans. He was wearing like a baseball jersey and a hat. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Not what I expected. He goes, oh, well, hey, I'll be right back. I got to go change real quick. So he goes back to the back of our church where the bathrooms are, and he comes back, and he's in his white gown. And I was like, I guess this was more formal than I thought. And he goes, well, I had to change. They wouldn't recognize me if I looked like that. I had to change because they wouldn't recognize me. And see, even when we don't, like, even when our minds are kind of like, you know, whatever, and we've got this weird idea about who or what the Lord is going to do and who he is or what he does, he meets us right where we're at. He meets us right where we're at. No different than when he walked through the walls and said, hey, Thomas, here you're having a hard time believing everything. Well, here's my hand. Why don't you just go put Put your hand in the wound. And he met Thomas right where he's at. He'll meet you right where you're at. He might even just let you believe some of your misconceptions for a moment. And then he'll start showing you he's different. Because that's his mercy, that's his grace towards us. That he'll meet us right where we're at and he won't go home. I remember I said I was going to share that and then let Thomas do his thing. I was in a leadership meeting and I said something that was, in hindsight, it was wrong. It was like like kind of a doctrinal theological statement.
I love stories that start off like that.
And it wasn't like a huge deal. It wasn't like, but I was in a leadership meeting and I said something that wasn't like necessarily right. And someone then reiterated it back to, the senior leader. And he was like, well, Wes said this and blah, blah, blah. And like, we were all in the same room, so it wasn't like he was telling on me. He was just going, well, this is what Wes said. He goes, well, I didn't agree with him. I just wasn't going to call him out. And it kind of like, that's the Lord. Mm-hmm. Don't necessarily agree with you. But I'm not going to put you on blast. I'll let we'll figure this out. So I want to say hi to everyone that's watching right now. We're going to do a little bit more worship. Like I said, I believe to be exciting news. And
one of the hardest things to accept, at least in my life, and I've seen a lot of other people struggle with it, is that true love has no requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we get all these requirements built up. Oh, I need to pray this amount of time. I need to do this. We see other people that have something we want, and then we create their lifestyle as our requirement. Like, if I just do this, I'll get there. And we build all these man-made requirements and really some self-made requirements in order to, in our heart, to have God in our lives, we must do this, or God is disappointed when I don't do that. If I don't pray like that person, or I don't read my word like this person. The hardest thing to sometimes accept, because we don't know anybody on this earth that naturally loves like this, that there are no requirements other than only believe. He said only is a strong word, believe.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other stuff, it's almost like he'll let you hold on to it because he's just dealing with it and wants to overcome it through love and sometimes silence. But he's like, okay, like you said, I don't agree. When we say like, oh God, I have to pray 2 hours a day to know you more. He's like, okay, I don't agree, but it's not going to hurt anything,
Yeah.
And so he gives us
Because
grace.
realistically, out of that 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes is something else.
Yeah, is us. Yeah. And he'll do more in 1 minute of him than 159 of us. So the reality is that true love has no requirements, and he wants to love you with that kind of love. And that's where I feel like right now the river is like the Lord wants to release strongholds that were created out of you perceiving false expectations from the Lord. Like, it's not him that says you have to do this for me to love you. You have to do this for me to know you, for you to know me. So, maybe it's a religious thing, or maybe it's just a self thing, that you feel like you failed God because you don't pray enough, or you don't worship enough, or you don't go to church enough. That is not from him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't require that of you. It's kind of like my sons. I don't require them to fellowship with me, but man, I love it when they come and sit on the couch next to me. Yeah. And they just want to hang out with Dad. I actually have a picture of my, at the time, 1-year-old. He was 3-year-old. My 3-year-old Isaac, and he climbed up on my shoulders while I was working. And so I have this 3-year-old like around my neck, on my neck, while Dad's at the laptop working. And I just, when he got up there, I was like, I'm trying to work, man. But then the Lord said, be still. I was like, okay. He's, I'm trying to show you something. And I just sat still, and I could not tell you, like, I just started streaming tears. I loved that he wanted to be with me.
Yeah.
But I don't require him to be with me. It's not really deep love when you require it. I mean, who really wants to force their spouse or loved one to be with them? You're not going to feel great about that. That's not a deep, that doesn't reveal desire on their heart. That reveals desire on our heart. But when you choose to go spend time with the Lord, it reveals desire in your heart. And that's the kind of love that he wants, not a love that's forced or out of requirement. So just be free. I feel like the freedom from these false expectations, these man-made religious expectations, it's time for all that to die right now.
So what I'm hearing is when love speaks, freedom comes.
That's right. And where the Spirit of the Lord is.
How did I know you were going there?
There is freedom.
Come on, man, just go for it.
Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And if you're tired and you are thirsty, there is freedom. If you're tired and you are thirsty, there is freedom. And freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. Freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace falling on every face. There is freedom. If you're tired and you are thirsty, there is freedom. If you're tired and you are thirsty, there is freedom. Listen, if you're tired of feeling like you're missing the mark, it's not from him. Missing the mark of not spending enough time, of not praying enough, of not worshiping enough. He doesn't require that from you. So lift your eyes to Jesus. Take it off all those things. There is freedom. Here's a key. Just lift your eyes to Jesus. You'll find freedom. Come on, sing it out, sing it out. Oh, freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace is falling on every face. There is freedom. Come on, talk about your heart. Put your hand on your heart. Say freedom reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace. It's falling on every place. There is freedom. Come on, sing it with everything you've got. Oh, freedom. place. There is freedom. And here's why. 'Cause Jesus reigns in this place. He brings showers of mercy and grace. He's falling on every face. It is Jesus. Jesus reigns in this place. Showers of mercy and grace. He's falling on every face. It's not man, it's Jesus. Only Jesus. It is Jesus.
You know, I saw this comment that I'm getting free from earning the love of God or trying to earn the love of God. You can't earn it. You can't earn it. It's something that just comes. That's been available for you. I mean, he loved you since the foundation of the earth. And his mind about you's never changed. His mind about you has never, ever changed at all whatsoever. Like, even through the Old Testament and his mind about you didn't change. Nothing changed. All he did was bridge the gap by bringing in his son. That's all he did. He just bridged the gap by bringing in his son. That's all he did. You know, and I've been saying now for a week and a half, and I've been on I don't know how many different broadcasts or whatever, that there's an invitation to come to his table and sit at his table. That we as a people have an invitation to come sit at his table. And I just kept on seeing people come to the table and sit. And then about a week and a half ago, just shortly after the table revelation, he just said, "Wesley, tell my people provision is coming." And I just kept on going, "Look, Lord, what do you mean by that?" Because I knew it was greater than monetary. I knew it was greater than materialistic stuff. I knew it was greater. And every time I would think about it, I would see the Lord walk towards me. I would see the Lord walk towards me. And I was like, what are you speaking to me, Lord? What are you speaking? And then he started dropping these different things. You know, I love it when people drop the green heart, because I've never started that. Like, sorry, I get distracted easily with this stuff. I never started that. I just did it myself. And people picked up on that little thing that I started doing. And I never intended that to be like a reality. I never thought that like the emoji green heart, when I created the logo for Love Speaks. But boy, did it play out well in my favor.
Wesley, I want to speak to something you were saying is, and I think I know where you're going, but that provision even in your life, he's providing time.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
just money, it's time.
It's everything. It's the provision became Jesus
It's freeing
on
you
the
up.
cross. It became the goat in the thicket. The provision looked like Isaac. It looked like the promise. It looked like the cake that came to Elijah. But not only was there cake, but like the Lord baked it. Like that. Like to me, that's blowing my mind
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
awesome, yeah.
That he baked the cake. He didn't. He could have manifested some cake, but he baked it. He gathered everything together, and so the Lord began tying all this in back to all of this. And he said, Wesley, I have provided an abundance of provisions for the table.
Yeah.
And so, with this invitation to the table, is people are like trying to put all these different meanings for like the color
See
green.
that.
You really want to know why it's green? Because that's my favorite color.
We couldn't tell.
Right, with my background. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you not tell?
How could you not tell?
And so, like, green is my favorite color.
Hey, prophetically, what's my favorite color?
Lion.
Lion. Okay, we need that. Let's not get distracted. My bad.
That's
bad.
easy.
My
That's
bad.
easy for us. Oh, it's okay. I can always tie it back in. I mean, I've done an hour-long circle bunny trail one time and still tied it back in. But so with all this talk about like being invited to the table,
Yeah.
to be at the table with the Lord, see, I always pick up on those undertones, and you don't even realize sometimes what you're
I
playing.
really don't know what I'm playing. What are you talking about?
Oh, that was very Casey and JoJo.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
Yeah. But so with the invitation to the table, because people are like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing next?
Yeah.
Because part of this is kind of like, this is going to be the last of the daily broadcast. It doesn't mean that I'm still not going to occasionally pop on and minister. But I can't continue talking about the table and how there's an invitation to go sit with the Father right now without going and sitting with the Father myself. And so part of what I'm doing is, starting tomorrow, I'm literally going to... Today is the last broadcast for a while from here. And I'm not entirely sure what it's going to look like yet. But I'm going to go sit at the table with the Father. I'm going to go see what He's doing, what He has to say. And so I believe that there's an invitation for all of us to go sit at the table. But I had this confirmed to me on Friday that it was just time to transition, that it was time to back out. And so that's what I'm doing. And people are like, you're leaving Facebook, you're leaving. But I am going on a retreat this week, and I was like, well, I'm going to you obviously use that time, but even longer, just to kind of go, all right, I'm not moving. Everyone's like, you're moving, you're leaving. No. I'm trying to make it less dramatic than what it really is. But at the same time.
But there's a key here. There's an ancient key here. Jesus slipped away all the time to be with his Father. Mm-hmm. He'd be in the middle of ministering and just straight up disappear. Disciples looking for him.
And then randomly appear somewhere
else. Walk through walls or whatever.
Walk through walls. He'd be like, you guys take the boat. I'm just going to show up over there.
Yeah. In the ocean, in the water. But there's a key here that you're demonstrating. I'm so proud of you, Wesley. It's not easy because this is our calling, this is our purpose to do what we're doing right now. And so it's not easy to walk away from that, but you've learned the value system that time with him is even more important than calls and destinies. This is the cross.
Well, this is the call. The call is to be with him.
Yeah. And so there's this coming away with me that he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's this come away with me. And, and that can happen in your house. When Wesley's talking about provision, time is something that we sometimes is more valuable than, provision, money, and all these things. Is always more valuable. And the Lord is freeing up some people. And you're all of a sudden, we all kind of had a wow moment where we had this free time from the lockdown and everything. But there's even times coming now where the Lord's going to shake some things that you've been doing, just like in Wesley's life. He's going to shake some things that you've been doing to make room for him, because you've been crying out, I want to know you more. But what relationship doesn't require time equity? Exactly. Every relationship requires time. I'm 17 plus years with my wife, and we still require time with each other.
Yeah. To
know each other even more. And I'm discovering more of her even now, 17 years later. The more time I spend with her, I discover more of her. And she gets more of me, even though I've given my whole heart. God gave us his whole heart. But through time equity and fellowship, there's a deeper knowing. And so this season, what you're doing, you're just saying yes to what he's doing in the whole body, Wesley. You're saying yes and amen to come away with me.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason I started doing this is because when all of this broke out, I sensed the fear, the panic, and just kind of the storm that people instantly were thrusted into. And part of the prophetic is to go in the midst of that and speak to that storm peace. When there's chaos, you speak peace. And there was something on my heart where the Lord just kept on saying, not that I was the only one, I'm not Elijah like that, where I just felt like there was a need for quality ministry, like in the sense of like bringing the heart of God to the situation, to what was going on.
And we all say thank you, Wesley. I can speak for every person on here and say thank you. And I could speak for the Lord, and he says thank you, Wesley.
So, I didn't anticipate it going the way that it did, since the beginning. I did the math. Not that any of it matters. I love numbers and stuff like that because I help people grow their businesses and stuff. I realized in 3 weeks I did over 50 Facebook Lives.
Lord have mercy.
And I was like, oh, Lord, help me. And people are like, where do you get the energy from? And like, I jokingly say coffee, but it was literally his grace.
Yeah.
I never could have done it without him. And then I look back and go, in less than 3 weeks, just from the Love Speaks Ministries page, over 130,000 people were reached. And I'm just like, dude, that's and that's not like good job, or I'm just like 130,000 people had the opportunity to be impacted by the love of God.
Wow, thank you, Jesus.
And so like I just go, that's because it's been on my heart to do like an online crusade somehow. And so, and we've seen salvations, we've seen miracles, we've seen different stuff. And so anyways, I love it. But now I get to go sit with my Father. And that's really where my heart is in this. And I want to encourage y'all, and yes, Marty says, thank you, Thomas. And absolutely, Thomas has been, there's been times where it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm live right now. You want to join in? And so, but I'm super thankful for everybody that joined a part of this. Like, understand, this is just finding out the next assignment. When you think about it, we helped provide, like, uh like gift boxes to like kids and all sorts of stuff. We did so much in the month of May.
Wow.
What's and so I'm yeah. Anyways,
Wesley, I'm going to do something that I need to do this. I need to follow the Lord. Listen, my wife says, Abba says it's your time. He's so excited to love on you. I love my wife. She's awesome.
Long as it's
pretty
God,
face.
long as it's God the Father and not Abba the band.
Look at that pretty face up there. And I'm not talking about you, Wesley. I mean, I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm not talking about the lion either. Just so my wife knows, I want these points, okay? I'm not talking about Wesley. I'm not talking about the lion. It's your face, baby. I love you. No, here's the deal. We sow into ministers when they give. Like, it's a natural response. We do that. It's to take care of the people that are encouraging us. But it's rare when someone will sow into a minister that needs to go spend time with the Lord, that will provide provision for him to get away. And I want to encourage you to do something different today. Don't sow in response to, I want you to sow into West, consider, pray, because it's for those that have seed. If you don't have seed to sow, it's not for you. It's not your moment, and God will have you sow prayer and likes and love. But the reality is that if you have seed to sow, I want you to consider sowing it into Wesley's ministry today. Not because, and he wouldn't ask me to do this, he gets really uncomfortable. You notice he got off the screen. But there's a reality here that there is a requirement for all of us to come away with the Lord. And sometimes in ministry, it's wired against ministers getting away. I know this is different, but it's true. I know this. I live this. I've been in ministry since I was 8 years old. Really before that, I grew up in a minister's home, pastor, evangelist. And we felt the sting of when we needed rest. That's when people quit supporting and giving, and because they're only giving attached to what they're receiving, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I want you to pray. I want you to pray about sowing into this season of rest. I believe there's going to be an increased blessing because Jesus loves to stay with his Father. He showed that. And he left this earth, ascended to the right hand of the Father, loves getting away with the Father. And desire that we worship one-on-one. And so into this moment of fellowship, unorthodox. It's not your comment, send in a donation. If you were blessed by this today, only if you were blessed, there's no doubt that your generosity comes out of being blessed through the ministry and hearing God, and Wesley being so surrendered. We're so thankful for that, and God is thankful for that. But if you'll sow into what the Lord loves today, he loves to be one-on-one, and Wesley will go to the mountain and he will always bring down a word, and he will always serve. That's his heart. And that's why he and I, even though we've only known each other a certain amount of time, we're kindred, because I've lived a life in that posture, is that I'm wired to serve. It's what I was born for. And so you can rest assured that he's coming down from the mountain with a word from the Lord. But he's going to the mountain to be with the Lord, not for the purpose of just getting something, but to give something, to give more of himself to the Lord. And so I want to encourage you. I think there's Wesley, didn't we set up a keyword or something? The word give. If you want that link right now, I'm telling you, there's an increased blessing because you're sowing. You're not manipulating God. You're just sowing into something that he loves. And so out of the generosity of your heart, pray. If the Lord's moving you right now, if he's moving you, do that. You can just comment the word give, right?
Yeah.
And they'll get that link. I think you did that because you don't like to talk about it. I think you did that so that it would be easy and you didn't have to like point people and put your, so many people put their PayPal links up and all this stuff, and you wanted to get away from that. But if you want to give right now and you want to sow into this beautiful ministry, this lover of his presence, and some time for rest. Wesley has poured out so much, and he's needing that infilling, and he's not broken in a bad sense, but he's broken in a sense that he needs some time to rest in the presence of the Lord. And so it's all pursuit. So yes, if you would just type the word give and you'll get the link. Even if you're not giving now, if you don't have it now, but you say my heart is to give, go ahead and type that word, and so you'll have the link, because Wesley won't be on here for a little while. I believe that when you align with on earth as it is in heaven, see, Wesley's already seated at the right hand of the Father in heaven. But right now, the earth needs to align. Earth and vessels needs to align for him to have some isolation with the Lord. And so just pray about it. Don't be moved by my words. Don't be moved by Wesley's needs or the needs of the ministry. Be moved by our Father, because only He brings the harvest. Amen. That's all I'll say about it. And man, we just love you, Wesley. We love you so much, man. And I gotta say this, Wesley's the real deal. Shockingly, sometimes just is raw. He's the same. We got off of a broadcast last night at like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm hanging out on the couch and I'm talking to him. I'm like, we're talking about the things of the Lord and how to find like hearts and things. He's the same there as he is right here. And sometimes you can't say that about yourself, you can't prove it, but a friend can. And I want to say something about that. And I'm going to end what I'm saying, because I don't like the sound of my voice. Too many people like the sound of their voice. Here's what I'll say about it. I'm just going to be real with you. I don't know how to be anything else but this. I'm way too transparent sometimes, I think, but
you're on the right broadcast for that.
Yeah, thank God. It's safe here. There are a lot of ministers that are great ministers, but they're poor friends. And it's a pain point for me, because my world is filled with ministers, and sometimes it's hard to have a friend that you could just call and say, hey man, I'm hurting, or hey man, I need prayer.
Yeah.
And I'm not glorifying Wesley. I'm glorifying God in Wesley, that he's like his Father, and that I can call him at any time, even at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've done it. And he's there, and he's real, and he has the heart of the Father to love on people like that, in that way, to not just be a flash in the pan, not be just something that is seen and heard, but to be something that is there for the sake of the brotherhood, for the sake of sons and daughters. And so I just want to say that it's been a delight, because Wesley's as good a friend as he is a minister. And I love you, man. I'm so honored to be on these moments with you. It's awesome.
I'm replying to comments at the same time, and I
don't know how you do so many things. Like
I don't know either.
Multitasking was not like one of my strong points until I was forced to with you. I had to do comments and play the keyboard at the same time last night. That was interesting.
Right? Well, then I start typing what I'm telling you, and then I start singing Casey and JoJo in my head.
Did it again, didn't I?
Yes, you did. But
listen to these people loving on you, man. God is so good.
You guys are awesome. I love it. Thank you. That's, I wanted Thomas to be a part of this broadcast just because, I love worship. And, Kevin, you're not distracting me.
That's impossible.
There's a reason why I have my phone here, so I can see these comments and those comments.
You can handle it. You can handle it.
Let me just see if there's any. I know so many people need prayer and need ministry, and I just want to.
Thank you, Michelle. If you want to speak, you can speak through me. I'm after your heartbeat. After your heartbeat. If you wanna move, you can move me. I'll cling to your heartbeat. You can lean on me. I just want you.
Come on.
Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I'm caught up in your presence.
Come on.
I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave. And I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything. And more than anything that you could do, I just want you. I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just sang another song. And take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I just don't want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just don't want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. just a